This all feels super weird. We've spent the last 5 years looking for a massive project and we just got one. I should be stoked.
For years, Parker Schnabel chased more than gold. He pursued a legacy buried deep beneath the frozen wilderness of Yukon's Dominion Creek. When the opportunity finally came, he didn't hesitate. With a $15 million investment, cutting-edge machines, and a high-stakes goal of 5,000 ounces, Parker took on one of the boldest mining gambles of his life. In a land where a single mistake can end it all, what he uncovered left even veteran miners stunned. This was more than just a dig. It was a battle against time, nature, and the weight of expectation. Every decision carried million-dollar consequences, and as the pressure mounted, Parker knew there was no turning back. Subscribe now to witness the moment that changed everything. But this was no easy path. The ground was frozen solid most of the year. Temperatures dropped to a bone-chilling -40°C, and the pressure was enormous. Parker poured every dollar into this claim, $3 million just to secure the land, $4 million for heavy-duty machines like excavators and rock trucks, and the rest for fuel, wages, and keeping his crew going. People thought he was crazy. He was only 28, risking a fortune that could have bought him a mansion in Beverly Hills. Even seasoned miners shook their heads. But Parker had already proven himself, pulling more than $60 million in gold since he took over his grandfather's operation as a teenager. Dominion Creek had history too. It was one of the richest gold sites during the Klondike Gold Rush in 1898. Back then, miners with nothing but shovels and grit pulled millions from the shallow ground. Parker knew the deeper gold was still waiting. He just had to dig down and find it. His plan? Dig past all that frozen dirt and rock to reach the ancient riverbed below, the spot he believed could be loaded with gold that had been sitting there for thousands of years. But there was no room for mistakes. Every single day, his crew burned through thousands of dollars just to keep the operation running. They needed to pull out at least 20 ounces of gold daily, close to $1 million a month, just to avoid losing money. The pressure was sky high. But Parker had a plan: work harder, dig deeper, and bring in cutting-edge gear to speed things up. His research hinted that this claim sat on ground like the richest gold spots in Alaska. If he was right, the reward could be massive. The problem? The gold was buried 30 feet under frozen mud and rock. Getting to it was like chipping away at a glacier just to unwrap a prize. But Parker had one major advantage: his secret weapon, the Roxanne wash plant. This machine was a game changer. Built from scratch, after 2 years of planning, it could process way more dirt than any plant Parker had ever used. 250 yards per hour compared to the usual 150. That made it 40% faster. Even better, it had a cutting-edge gold recovery system that could grab tiny gold particles, pieces half a millimeter small, that older machines would have missed. Standing 3 stories tall and weighing over 100 tons, Roxanne wasn't just big, it was smart. It had an advanced control system that monitored everything in real time: water pressure, dirt flow, and how well the screens were working. While other miners were still making adjustments by hand, Parker's team had automation on their side. This was the machine that could make or break his $15 million gamble. But getting this high-tech wash plant up and running wasn't as simple as flipping a switch. Bringing Roxanne into action came with its own set of tough challenges. Some Parker hadn't seen coming. The first problem hit right away. Roxanne was a beast. It weighed over 100 tons. And when they tried setting it up on the site, they realized the soft, thawing permafrost beneath Dominion Creek couldn't support that kind of weight. If they just placed it on the ground, it would sink like a stone. The team had to come up with a fix, fast. They built a reinforced pad using crushed rock and heavy steel supports to create a solid foundation. It was an expensive solution, and it wasn't something Parker had factored into his budget. But it was the only way to keep Roxanne stable and working. Then came the water problem. Roxanne's power meant it could process dirt faster than any machine Parker had ever used. But that also meant it needed a lot more water, over 4,000 gallons every minute. Parker bumped Roxanne's feed rate up to 300 yards an hour, and Alec boosted the water being pumped into the plant from 2,800 to 3,000 gallons a minute to wash the increased dirt now flowing through. That's not the kind of water flow you can just hook up to a hose. The crew had to construct an entire water recycling system that stretched across half a mile of their claim. They built settlement ponds, pumping stations, and a whole network of pipes to make sure Roxanne never ran dry. And as if that wasn't enough, the brutal Klondike weather threw another curveball. Roxanne's advanced control system, the brains behind its efficiency, relied on sensitive electronics that didn't exactly love freezing temperatures and constant moisture. This meant, in order to keep everything working properly, Parker's team had to build custom climate-controlled units to protect the equipment. These heated shelters took more power to run, but without them, Roxanne's high-tech systems would have failed in the harsh Yukon environment. Despite all these hurdles, Roxanne proved its worth almost immediately. On its first full day of operation, the plant processed over 2,000 yards of material, nearly double what Parker's older wash plants could handle. Not only did it chew through dirt faster, but it also wasted less. The precision screening meant they spent less time dealing with useless rocks and more time recovering gold. But the real payoff came when Roxanne's advanced gold recovery system showed what it could do. It captured several impressive nuggets, pieces that would have slipped right through older equipment. One find stood out above the rest, a massive 7-ounce nugget, the largest single piece of gold ever pulled from Dominion Creek. That one discovery alone was worth thousands of dollars and proved that Parker's bet on Roxanne and his entire $15 million gamble was starting to pay off. The plant's name carried special meaning, too. Parker had named it Roxanne in honor of his late mother, who had always supported his mining dreams. When she roared to life, it served as a reminder to Parker and his crew that beyond all the technology and dollars, this was still a personal journey, built on family and determination. With Roxanne firing on all cylinders, the team set their sights on a bold goal: 5,000 ounces of gold by the end of the season. It felt more achievable now. But just when everything seemed to be going right, disaster was waiting around the corner. Parker's $15 million investment was about to face its toughest test yet. Parker's going to be spending a lot of money before, we never get an ounce of gold out of here. Yeah, man, well, I can't imagine the pressure he's under, going from having all that money in the bank to the next day having a big old debt and a long time till we start seeing any gold to help pay it off. It was something no amount of planning or technology could completely prevent. The day everything turned around at Dominion Creek started like any other, with Parker and his team pushing hard to find gold. But what happened next changed their entire mining season. While digging through an area where old mining waste mixed with untouched ground, the crew made a surprising discovery. They hit gold, and not just a little bit. This find proved that Parker's plan to work this section of the claim was the right call all along. For weeks, Parker Schnabel's team had been grinding through brutal Yukon conditions, freezing winds, broken machines, and mounting pressure. But then, something incredible happened. In a single cleanout, they pulled 125 ounces of gold. That's over $250,000 in one haul. It wasn't just a win, it was the breakthrough they desperately needed. And the best part? The gold wasn't buried deep under layers of overburden. It was sitting in easy ground, no heavy stripping, no wasted time, just pure pay dirt, ready to run. For a crew running low on time, money, and morale, this changed everything. Parker instantly shifted all focus to that spot, and it paid off. There was more gold, and a lot of it. "Yeah, we did it. You killed it, Chris," Parker shouted, his voice crackling over the radio. You got a copy, Chris? We're ready for the cleanup down here at Roxanne. The crew gathered as the last of the pay dirt ran through the plant. Parker's hunch was dead on. This was old river gold, untouched since the Klondike Gold Rush. It had waited more than a century, and now it was finally seeing the light of day. But success never comes easy in the Yukon. As the gold poured in, the problems didn't stop. Machines broke down, pumps froze, shaker decks jammed. Crews worked through freezing rain and bitter wind, making repairs in impossible conditions. Every minute the plant was down meant gold and money lost forever. The physical toll was relentless. Long hours behind heavy machines left hands numb, backs aching, and minds stretched to the edge. Living conditions weren't much better. Cramped bunks, months away from home, and the weight of expectations. New workers came in, but slow training only added to the stress. Still, that big gold hit gave them something priceless: belief. Parker's $15 million gamble on Dominion Creek had started as a dream, but now it was delivering results. This wasn't old-school gold panning anymore. Parker's operation was a full-scale industrial beast, burning through thousands of gallons of diesel every single day. Just fuel costs alone topped $22,000 daily. One rock truck drank 50 gallons. Per shift, multiply that by a dozen machines running nonstop, and you've got fuel bills over $10,000 a week. By the end of the season, the results were in: 7,381 ounces of gold, one of Parker's biggest totals ever. Applause broke out across the site. It was more than just profit. It was validation, survival, and momentum for seasons to come. But Parker understood one thing clearly. In a chaotic world, the hunger for gold only grows. And as long as people crave security and wealth, he'll keep digging, deeper, harder, and smarter, chasing the next motherlode beneath the Yukon ice. Want to see more gold? Then don't just watch. Subscribe now and become part of the ultimate hunt for lost treasures, hidden fortunes, and legendary gold discoveries that defy time. Parker Schnabel's journey isn't just about ounces and equipment. It's about relentless grit, instinct, and risking everything for one shot at greatness. This season at Dominion Creek wasn't handed to him. It was carved out of frozen ground, against all odds, with machines groaning under the weight of expectations and a crew pushed past exhaustion. Every gallon of diesel burned, every bolt turned in sub-zero temperatures, every setback overcome, was a testament to the fire behind the gold. When the team hit 125 ounces in a single cleanout, it wasn't just gold, it was proof. Proof that Parker's gamble was more than a dream. It was strategy, timing, and the courage to go all in when the ground beneath your boots might collapse. The fact that this gold sat in soft ground, no stripping, no prep, just ready to run pay dirt, was a rare gift. But gifts in mining come at a price. The plant ran hot, the crew ran cold, and the line between success and disaster was razor thin. Dominion Creek had a history. Once part of the fabled Klondike Gold Rush, it had already made and broken men over 100 years ago. But what those old-timers missed, Parker was determined to find. He believed the old river channels buried deep below still held a fortune, gold that had waited a century to be found. And now, Roxanne, the custom-built wash plant named in honor of his late mother, was making that dream real. Still, the Yukon never gives without taking something in return. Machines froze, hoses burst, electronics failed, and while Parker's plant was the most advanced he'd ever used, even the smartest system couldn't escape the fury of ice and time. His team scrambled constantly to fix problems as they came. Out there, you don't get warnings, just consequences. The slightest breakdown could mean losing thousands of dollars an hour, and those costs never stopped. Massive rock trucks guzzled fuel. Excavators ran through the night. Generators roared to keep everything alive. Parker's daily fuel cost alone often topped $22,000. And that's not including wages, maintenance, food, parts, or logistics. Every decision was a high-stakes move. Every delay felt like a threat to the entire season. Through it all, the crew endured. Cramped quarters, bone-deep fatigue, and the mental strain of isolation in one of the world's harshest environments. Yet they pressed forward, driven by the gleam of gold and the belief that this season could change everything. That moment, when 7,381 ounces were finally tallied, was more than just a number. It was vindication. A reminder that boldness still has a place in this world, and that fortune truly favors the fearless. But Parker knows better than most. Gold mining isn't just about today's win. It's about surviving long enough to keep digging tomorrow. Markets shift, weather changes, machinery ages, and the world? The crazier it gets, the more people cling to gold, its value, its power, its insurance when everything else starts to fall apart. So, could this massive gamble at Dominion Creek really pay off? Yes, but only if the drive continues, if the vision stays clear, and if the team keeps pushing when the ground says stop. Because in the Yukon, success doesn't come easy. You fight for every flake, every ounce, every inch. This is more than a gold mine. It's a battleground. And Parker Schnabel, he's just getting started. Subscribe now to follow the next chapter in this incredible journey, where fortunes rise, legends are forged, and gold still hides beneath the surface, waiting for those bold enough to go find it.